Everybody, good morning, happy Tuesday. It's your friendly neighborhood Winter here. Um, I want to talk about a few things today. So, one of which is just housekeeping stuff. I have a lot of information on the AP test that I'm going to share, and so that will also be posted in Classroom. But I want to go over it here briefly. And the second thing is finishing up content for the course. Yes, completely finishing up, as in we are done with all of the content. We can now go into review time. So let's start the AP test. So, your test. Your test is on May 19th, and it starts at 12 p.m. You have to be logged in by 11:30 a.m. So, it's a 50-minute test consisting of two FRQ questions. So, the first FRQ question is like a general conceptual apply these concepts FRQ question. It's kind of the stuff that you've been familiar with, define and apply, all that good stuff. The second FRQ question, they've actually given you the subject of, and it's research methods. And so I've given you an FRQ this year over designing a study. I think it was about sugar, right, and placebos and hyperactivity. So it's over research methods. So random sampling, control versus experimental groups, all that good stuff. So the first question, the conceptual question, you'll have 25 minutes to do and 5 minutes to upload. That's 30 minutes of the test. Second question is the research methods one. It is worth 45% of the test. You'll have 15 minutes to do it and 5 minutes to upload. So you'll finish the first question, 30 minutes, and then you'll submit that. It's done. Then you'll go to the second question. And you'll spend 15 minutes on that and upload it in the next 5. And then you're done. That's the entire exam. So, over these next few weeks, we're going to do a lot of practice in regards to, one, research methods. I'm going to give you a lot of resources to help you practice. And two, just in general, FRQs. So, both will be FRQs. If I wasn't clear about anything, just please email me. I want to get this right, and I want it to be clear in all of you guys' brains. So, next, let's finish this course. The next unit we're going to do is called States of Consciousness. So, it's 2 to 4% of the AP test. It's actually on the AP test, unlike treatment and social psychology. So, we need to talk about it. I kind of talk about this unit, and it overlaps with a lot of other units that we cover earlier on in the year. So it doesn't take me very long to cover. So I'm going to cover it here in this video. You're gonna fill out a little like note catcher, and you're gonna submit that note catcher, and that's gonna be today's assignment. There are a couple things I need you to do. One, I'm gonna post some images on Classroom. Just make sure you pull those up as I'm talking. One is about sleep cycles and all that good stuff. So have those up so you can kind of follow along with me as I go through this. All right. So let's start with what is states of consciousness. What is the unit about? So generally, it's about states of mind, states of being. So in this unit, we cover drugs and the effects drugs have on your consciousness and awareness. And we cover what consciousness is. So let's start with consciousness. Consciousness is being aware of yourself in your own experiences and your surroundings, right? Just being aware of the world around you. And being sentient and processing, memories and everything that happens to you. So, you can alter consciousness, right? By taking drugs, you can change the way you experience the world. You can change your level of awareness. You can increase it or decrease it. You can change your mental activity, thus changing how you perceive and take in the world around you. So, those are the two topics we are going to cover. So the first thing I want to talk about is what's called circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is your body's natural sleep and wake cycle. So, like in the morning, you're up, maybe watching this, you're probably still pretty sleepy. It's going to take you a couple hours to get into the day. A lot of people drink coffee during this time, a stimulant which increases their amount of consciousness, right? Because you're still a little groggy. By midday, right? After you eat, you may get a little tired. In many countries, like Spain, for example, many people take naps after lunchtime because their natural state of consciousness just kind of decreases. They get a little tired, right? And so they take little siestas or naps. Um, and then after that, your consciousness and your level of activity, physical and mental activity, increase until you hit nighttime when you get sleepy again. And so that's the normal ebb and flow of consciousness throughout the day. That is called your circadian rhythm. And you experience this rhythm every single day, right? That's why it's called a rhythm, this pattern. Your circadian rhythm can change, right? So, for example, right now, your sleep and wake cycle is probably all jacked up because of COVID. You're probably going to bed super late, getting up super late, or vice versa. Your circadian rhythm has changed, but generally it stays pretty much the same. Um, Circadian rhythms also change with age. So once you get older, you start to get up a little bit earlier in the day, and you tend to sleep more during the actual day. All right, you get up early and then you sleep during periods of the day. That's just old people's natural circadian rhythm. Teenagers are crazy because their circadian rhythms are all jacked up with society. So naturally, teenagers are going to go to bed later, like 1 or 2 a.m. later. Like they're naturally, biologically hardwired to go to bed late at night. And then they get up really, really late. Right? This isn't you being a lazy, right, good for nothing person or anything like that. It's just what teenagers do. They're just hardwired to do it. It's natural. And with our school schedule and stuff, it really doesn't fit into like natural biology. So that is circadian rhythm. The next thing we're going to talk about is sleep. So there are different stages of sleep. And so there's light sleep and deep sleep. And these are accompanied by different levels of brain activity and brain waves. And so you have, when you're in a light stage of sleep, you have very, very, I guess, normal waking, more energetic brain waves, right? And then as you get to stage 4 of sleep, that's deep sleep. You get really, really, right, like low energy, long drawn out, long wavelength brain waves. This is how researchers can tell what stage of sleep you are in. We hook up an EEG to your brain and we measure your brain waves. So let's talk about how sleep occurs. So you go to bed and you're falling asleep and you enter stage 1. And you're going to go down to stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and you're going to be really, really deep into sleep. And then you're going to come back up through the stages. So after stage 4, you're going to go to stage 3, and then stage 2, and then stage 1. And it's when you come back up and hit the very, very top, right, of that cycle, of that sleep cycle, you're going to experience what the most important thing of this all is REM. REM is rapid eye movement. So believe it or not, while you're asleep, your eyes roll back into your head and they move rapidly back and forth. Your little eyeballs move rapidly back and forth. This is the stage that is associated with dreaming, and it's accompanied with really, really intense levels of brain activity. REM is super, super important for your health. So it helps you encode memories. It also helps you feel awake and aroused and ready to go the next day. Without REM sleep, you're going to be groggy the next day, and your memory is going to be shot, right? And if you don't experience REM sleep over the course of a week or a month, it's going to have really, really negative consequences on your cognitive functioning, right? Your memory ability. So REM sleep is super important. So you go down to stage 4, you fall asleep, go down to stage 4, and then you start to come back up, back through stage 3, 2, 1, and right when you get to 1, you experience REM. And then you go back down again, right? 2, 3, 4, and then back up again, and you go and you hit stage 1 again, and then you have REM a second time. So usually you do these cycles 4 times, these ups and downs. And each time you hit the top of that cycle, your REM sleep gets longer. So the first time you go down and you go up, and your REM will last like 3, 4, 5 minutes, right? and you want a lot of REM sleep. So you're going to go back down and then back up. And then once you hit it a second time, stage 1, that REM period, it's going to last 10 minutes. And then the next time will be 20 minutes. And then the next time will be 30 minutes. So if you get your normal recommended 7 to 8 hours of sleep, you will do 4 of these cycles. And by that last cycle, your REM sleep will be about 30 minutes. So over the course of the entire night, you should have an hour to an hour and a half of REM sleep. So if you're going to bed super duper late, then you're not getting as much REM sleep because you haven't had as many sleep cycles. So with that said, REM is super important for building and storing memory in your long-term memory, right? So it's good for like storing the memories that you've accumulated throughout the day. And so usually when you dream about stuff that happened during the day. So you're in REM at that time when you're dreaming, and that's a way for your brain to process memories for that day. So REM, good stuff. Let's talk about drugs. Drugs change consciousness. Depressants. Depressants decrease your level of mental activity, decrease your level of physical activity, they decrease arousal, right? So an example of a depressant would be alcohol. Another example would be anti-anxiety medication, Xanax bars, things like that. Let's talk about stimulants. Stimulants increase your level of mental activity, increase your level of arousal. These include things like caffeine, cocaine, methamphetamine, Adderall, right? All of this stuff increases your level of arousal and mental activity. Let's talk about some other types of drugs. Opiates. Opiates are general painkillers, right? Your body naturally produces endorphins, which is a drug that kills pain and causes you to feel better. And so when you take an opiate, it is an agonist to an endorphin. It looks to your brain like it's an endorphin, right? This includes things like heroin, painkillers, medically prescribed painkillers, and so that those are opiates, right? They give you a sense of euphoria and they also kill pain. So there's also barbiturates, which are more like tranquilizers, which completely like shut down or inhibit all mental activity, right? That's kind of really scary stuff. I don't know why anybody would take a horse tranquilizer or anything like that. It's going to shut down your level of mental activity. So those are different types of drugs, but you have depressants, stimulants, and then opiates, right, are the 3 main categories. But I really wanted to dwell on the sleep cycles and circadian rhythm. So I'm going to give you like a little, I don't know, Google Doc, exit ticket, something for you to fill out, and just submit it in Classroom. It'll be your assignment, and then we'll have some type of review stuffs for the warm-up. So, I miss you guys. Sucks not being at school. Really does suck. It's no bueno. I feel like I don't know you guys, man. It's been too long. I see these names, and y'all are strangers to me. It's like, who's that kid? Who's that kid on my grade sheet, on my roll sheet? I really do miss you guys. Wish I were back. And I hope y'all are having a good shelter in place time. Hope y'all are making it through COVID. And just remember to be good to yourself and be good to others. And that we will get out of this and it'll be fun once we get out of this. But stay inside for now. Stay inside. Don't be a crazy person. Don't go out and protest right now. It's not good. Not good for society. Not good for your health. So, peace, dudes. Ask me questions about the AP test if you have any. Ask me questions about states of consciousness if you have any. Bye.